For my next project, I'm working on this case, wood case that goes to a Kenwood, either a KR-6030 or 5030. I received it. It was in really great shape, and of course it was shipped. And I told the shipper or the seller to box it up and watch out for the corners and all that. And of course, they got dinged up, and the worst ding is in this corner here. Pretty bad. I've already chipped some of the wood off of there, some of the loose stuff, to get to the bad areas. And now I'm going to go ahead and use an epoxy putty filler that is supposed to accept the stain, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'll just go ahead and put it on and I'll paint it. With this stuff, you go ahead and you cut it and you knead it. It's two different, it's a hardener and the resin, and you can see that it has two rings, and you basically have to cut that and knead it together so it becomes a consistent color. And once that is that color, then you can go ahead and put it and fill it into the area. So I'll go ahead and give it a try to do as good as I can to fill in that corner and some other areas that need some attention. But it's unfortunate that this happened, but sometimes, you know, just shipments come in and old USPS, you know, they drop it and they do whatever they can to damage it as much as possible. So I'll go ahead and I'll putty and come back and putty that up. Found a lot of spots that needed some work. Obviously, this is the worst one, this corner. And hopefully when that's done, cured, I'll go ahead and paint that up and try to match that as well as I could. I found a little bit more here in this corner, over here in that bottom corner, and there was some more over on this side. There's a little bit on that edge and a little bit down here, a little bit about in that bottom corner. So anyway, gonna let that cure up and mix up some paint and match that as well as I can. Now for my third attempt at trying to do the audio associated with this. So anyway, I pulled it out, and this is the next morning. And when doing a large area filler like this, you'll get some, you know, no matter how much you try to flatten it out, you'll have some areas that are kind of bumpy and such. So I just take an emery board or nail file and start to level or try to level that as much as possible. It usually comes out pretty good. And the other thing I do is watch really well, trying not to sand the original finish and lose that sheen of the original finish. It's going to be hard enough to try to recapture that with the filler anyway, but so just again, with everything I do, take your time and try not to destroy the original piece as much as possible. So I'm working on the corner, which is probably the worst part, and I'll go back over some of the little areas that I also did, especially the corners, just to try to square them up as much as possible. On the bottom there, turning this around, because the bottom I can be a little more aggressive because it's not finished. It's just you know, unfinished bottom wood. Anyway, so I'll keep doing that, and then I'll get some paint and try to match it as good as I can. I started with a little bit of burnt sienna, and that's kind of close, but it always looks a little more redder when you bring it out, and a little lighter. And I mixed it with a little, just like a dark brown. Because it's always better to be a little darker than a little lighter with this stuff. Usually I found that to be the case. So I'm going to try it here and see how that looks. A little more brown in there. Still, it looks a little reddish to me. More brown. It's it looks pretty close. Still, I think a little more brown. All right, that looks pretty close. I'm going to try this bigger area here, see how that bears out. And then if I want to blend that in, this area looks a little lighter to me. Sometimes I'll just kind of dab it and blend it a little bit. Some of these areas too, just worn areas, I'll just touch them real quick. A little more brown look to them. No, not too much. Got a little too close there. Let that dry up. See what that looks like. Go ahead and do this area here on the top. Like I said before, the customer already knows this has been this was a damaged piece, so I'm letting them have it for a lot less than this would normally go for. That works out for everybody that way. Just do as good a job as I can at making it look presentable. It's never going to be perfect, but just to make it look decent. All right, I'll go ahead and that coloring looks pretty good, so we'll go ahead and reposition here and attack that corner. Now the corner, we'll load up and with paint, see how the bottom will look. Try to even all this area out as much as possible. blend it as much as possible. That doesn't look too bad. Now for the front. Top. Going to take a little extra because it's that white underneath. Doesn't look, it kind of comes through. Takes a little extra paint to make that look right. Do the inside edges. Okay, so hopefully you can see understand what I'm doing here. Just trying to touch those areas and make it look as close to the original as possible. Let's see, try and get this corner again. It's a little streaky on there. Get as much paint on there as I can. Cover that white, well not white, but close to white filler. Let's see if we can get on there. Yeah, it's about a 5-footer. You won't notice that much from a distance, but up close you're going to be able to tell. Let's see if I can get that. Probably hard to see with this camera. Move this around. The junk I got in the way. Anyway, I'll go ahead and keep working with this and try to find some. This will dry flat, so it's not going to look good, so I have to find some just maybe like a urethane to put over top of this, give it a little sheen. Anyway, my goal is to just make this corner look a little darker but blend in with the rest of this, with the rest of the cabinet. So you can see in that spot how dull that paint is. So something I got to get something on there to shine that up a little bit. So keep working on it. This is the finished product. All those little dings and such out of there. Like I said, it's a good maybe 3-4 footer that you can't notice the issues. I went ahead and cleaned it all up, and hopefully it's acceptable. This is the really bad corner there, so it was all crushed in. So it looks halfway decent now. Once again, it's not perfect, but it should be acceptable. Hope you enjoyed.